joining us. Okay, so here we are. The Ahaba learning program that they invited us to Tuesday night, March 29th, 2022. Pesach is about 2.5 weeks away. And the highlight of Pesach, at least as far as I'm concerned, is the Haggadah. The issue with the Haggadah is we get to the Haggadah, and nowadays it's become more of how fast can we finish, not about what the Haggadah is and what we're doing. And what's the important part? Is there an important part? What can we just rush through? What's, what must we drag out? What should we talk about things, not talk about things? So what's really going on? And then how does it connect to other things, and what's the real message? So we have a lot going on. I was talking to some boys on Shabbat about the Haggadah and asking them, they're like, yeah, okay. So we're beginning Kadesh, Has, Has, okay, keeps us involved, we're engaged. Okay, we get up to Magid. All right, Halahmanya, Manishtana, Abadim Hayinu. After that, we've checked out. And over the last few days, I've asked more and more people, and that seems to be the general attitude. After Abadim Hayinu, we really don't know what's going on. We don't have a connection. And okay, few people, no, it was the rabbis in Bnei Barak, there were 4 sons. That's about it. That's then you'll have the people who want, they'll tell you, okay, we sing Hisha Amda in some Jedab tune they learned in school, but after that, that's for sure now. That's it. It's gone until they get to singing Dayin. Okay? What's happening between Hisha Amda and Dayenu? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what's there. And even though we've had classes on this in the past and we've touched upon this, as I look into it each year, more and more, I see how not just important it is, it's in fact the main message of the Haggadah. If you had to skip things, I would have skipped all the things I mentioned till now, and now only focus on the part that nobody looks at. Okay, and this part that we're looking at is if we look at the Mishnah, okay, and the Mishnah is very interesting. The Mishnah tells us that we have to be Doresh, not just read, but Doresh. We have to study and explain and elaborate upon the Pesukim from Ahaba Ve Ahva until the end of that section. And the whole thing is all about 4 or 5 Pesukim. The entire thing. Now, what are we talking about? What are these 4 or 5 Pesukim? Where are they? What are they talking about? What do they come in connection with? Anybody know? Anybody at all? I don't care. Take a guess. You don't know, so I don't know.
It's the suffering that the work that
it's stuff on the page in front of you. I know it's stuff on the page in front of you. Very good. But does that help you? No, it doesn't help you. So, when we think of Pesach, of Yetziat Mitzrayim, of the Haggadah, we think of Sefer Shemot, the parashiyot of Shemot, Va'era, Bo, B'Shalach. Those 4 parashiyot basically are all about Yaakov and his family going down to Egypt, turning into a great nation, becoming enslaved, and the 10 plagues, and getting out of Egypt. That's what everybody thinks of. You don't think of anything else when you think about Pesach and Mitzrayim. That's it. And all of a sudden, what is the Mishnah telling us? And what is the Halakha insisting that we do? Insisting that we go to Debarim, to Parashat Kitabo, and read the Pesukim from Parashat Kitabo. So if you look at the sheet in front of you, okay, you'll see you have numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. And these are the 4 Pesukim. Ahaba Ve Ahva, Vayered Mitzrayma, Vayachol Sham Mteme'ad, Vahisham Nechol Gadol Asum Barab. The next Pasuk, Vayareu, Otanu HaMiskim Va'anunu, Vayitenu Aleinu Abadat Qasha. Third Pasuk, Vanis'ak El Adonai Elohei Abotenu, Vayishma Adonai Et Kulenu, Vayard Oninu, Vet Amalenu, Vet Lahasenu. And finally, the 4th Pasuk, ויוציאנו אדוני ממצרים ביד חזקה, בזרוע נטויה, ובמרק גדול, ובאותות ובמופתים. And if you think about these four Pesukim, this is exactly the story of Yetziat Mitzrayim. All of those four parashiyot summarized into four Pesukim. And this is what the Torah is insisting that we study. The Hakhamim, the Torah Sheba'al Peh, are insisting that these are the four Pesukim that we have to be Doresh Bahim. Okay? How many people Doresh these four Pesukim? How many people pay attention to these four Pesukim on Pesach night? Yeah? Do you? Good for you. You're one in a zillion. You read them, not only you read them, you're flying through them, like you're flipping pages. Oh, how many pages we got left? Okay, let's go. That's what most people are doing. Okay, we have enough time for you to go warm up the food in the kitchen until you have to come back. We're gonna pour, for the 10 plates. Am I exaggerating when I'm saying this? I think that really holds true, unfortunately, for most. Now, the editors of the Haggadah, and I'm saying the editors because we don't know who put the Haggadah together. The Haggadah that we have it today, we only know about it in this format from the days of the Geonim of Babel. So figure approximately the 9th century. What was they doing before? How similar or how different? We're not 100% sure. Okay, what was the Haggadah of Eretz Israel? In other words, not of Babel before it. We have a somewhat framework based upon Ginizah discoveries, but it's not something that any members of Am Yisrael today adhere to. Everybody, Ashkenazim and Sephardim, Yemenites, Italians, everybody basically has the same Haggadah format that we use. Okay, there are differences, but the format is there, the Pesukim are there, the order is there. And yeah, it's a very good sign. It shows us that we all, have one same root history, and we're all adhering to the same thing, and it's all based upon the Mishnah. So that goes back to Torah Sheba'al Peh. So that means this issue has to be very old, okay? And it's so old that the Pesukim explain the Pesukim, which I've talked about in the previous class, that this is a style of derasha that we generally only see over here, and we don't see anyplace else. And it's done in the style of the Midrashim, the old Midrashim of the Sifra, the Sifrei, and things like that. So the way we read the Haggadah goes back in time to the way the Hakhamim wanted us to explain it. Now let's look at some of these Pesukim, and you'll see how they're broken down. I wanted to bring Haggadah with me today. I didn't have a chance to go home and get them. But if you look at them, you'll see. Let's take this first pasuk of Arami Obed Abi Bayed Misraim Abiyah Sham Timaat Bahisham Lechoy Gadol Asum Barab. Right? So you have Bayed Misraima. He tells you Anus Atiyah Dibur. One simple explanation, no source, no nothing. Just explaining it. Then Vayachur Sham gets into explanation, and then brings a proof for it from another pasuk in the Torah. Okay, so you see the word Vayachur Sham. The explanation says Lagur, and the pasuk says Lagur. Okay, so it's connected. You have the next part of it, of Bimteme'at, okay, smaller number, and automatically just gives you a pasuk. Very simple. 70 people came down. No pasuk, just explanation. Only a pasuk to explain it. So you have either an explanation and a pasuk, or just a pasuk. This is the format the Hakhamim are doing, and they do in each one of these pesukim. Okay, they either give us an explanation, or just a pasuk, or explanation and pasuk. One of these formats. So it's a 1, 2, 3 format. We have one case where they give us a 4-pronged format. Okay, in the third pasuk, Okay, if you look at the third pasuk, you see, "V'nis'ak el Adonai Elohei Avotenu v'yishma Adonai et kolenu v'yar et onyenu ve'et amalenu ve'et lahasenu." So each one is separate. Okay, v'yar et onyenu v'yar et amalenu v'yar et lahasenu. So for each one of them, it ends up bringing us a separate pasuk. Okay, what's going on with all this? What's it actually coming to tell us, and why is it putting this in this order? Okay, so let's look. You see how I took the second pasuk. Okay, فيريعوا وتانوا همسرين ويعنونوا ويتنوا علينا عبودا كشا. Okay, so they oppressed us and they treated us badly and they put harsh work upon us. Each one of these pasukim, ويريعوا تانوا همسرين, and then what are they? What's the pasuk that bring us? هابن اتحكما له بهيا كتفين من حمابن وصاف دمه على السنين وبالحمبن على من عارس. So saying that they tried to outsmart us. They wanted to outsmart us because they were afraid that we're going to outsmart them and overpower them. By Annunu, Pasuk says, Vayasimu Alaf Salim Misin Laman Annoto. There's the Inui and the Inui. Okay, and then Vayitnu Abadil Kasha, Vayabilu Muslim Befarich. But what's really going on over here? Is there any format? Do you see any pattern to what's happening? Other than what's going on, the back and forth, you have to understand that this is all, the Haggadah is part of the Torah Shebe'al Peh, but it's bringing us Torah Shebichtav. How does it work hand in hand? It's all a memory game. Everything has to be in order. We're taking Pesukim. We're saying these 4 Pesukim are only belonging to a small section in Debarim, which we didn't talk about yet. We're still going to talk about where they fit in and why they fit in. But look at the Pesukim the Hakhamim are giving us. They're giving it to us in order. Beneath this, I put you what's written in Shemot, right? We said in Shemot is where the story happens. Perek Aleph of Shemot. وبني إسرائيل قالوا ويشتسوا ويربوا ويعصوا وضوابط من الأرض وتاب. Right? Give us the header, the introduction as to what's going on. Pasuk Yod, Haban et Hakema. That's the first pasuk that the Haggadah is explaining to us for Vayareu Utan Muslim. The second pasuk from Shemot, from pasuk Yod Aleph, Vayasimu Alav Salem Yisim. That's the second pasuk that they're using to explain by Anun. The third pasuk from from the Shemot. It's continuation, and then third, then finally, in other words, you're reading Debarim, but you have to remember Shemot. And how are you going to remember it? In order. Everybody knows Pesukim. Everybody knows them in order. The story is connected. You think the words are not connected over here, but everything's connected. It's back and forth and back and forth. And the way the people they didn't have printed Haggadot. They didn't even have pieces of paper. Everything was by heart. So how did the Haggadah transmit from generation to generation to generation, over and over again? It had to be made in a format that everybody can remember. And that's why it had to be done in order. So they found connected Pesukim that they had to put in order. It's a beautiful trait that people don't pay attention to, and you don't realize what's going on the back and forth over here. Okay, so now that's the first part. So what else is going on over here? What else do we see happening in these Pesukim? What are these Pesukim connected to? Any idea? Okay, but I said these 4 Pesukim, right? The ones that are numbered from 1 through 4. They're all in Sefer Debarim. What are they doing in Sefer Debarim? What is their purpose in Sefer Debarim? Yes, Sefer Debarim in general is a recap of the entire Torah. But it still has to serve a purpose. In other words, it can't just pop in haphazardly. It's doing something over there. No. Even more interesting, believe it or not. So first of all, we know we have this mitzvah of Haggadah, right? Haggadah we have to tell and we have to say, and that's what we call this the Haggadah. So, if we look at this concept of Haggadah, the Torah tells us this in this section of Debarim, before these Pesukim that we're talking about, but prior to that in Shemot, in Perek Yud Gimel, V'Haggadah levincha b'yomahu lemor, right? We say it every day in Kaddish Shli, but when we put on Tefillin, we say V'Haggadah. And that's where our commandment comes to come and say it on Pesach. And we don't run into this V'Haggadah or usages of this, what do you call, of the shortish, of the Hagi to tell over a story until we get to Debarim. And when is it Debarim? When we get to the mitzvah of Bikourim. The Bikourim are the first fruits. So now you came into Eretz Israel and you have to be thankful to God. Okay? And you have to take these first fruits and you have to say to the Kohen, okay? It's not me. My forefathers, they were in Israel. They were going to be wiped out. Whatever, sent them down to Egypt. They developed into a nation. They were enslaved. They were beaten. They cried out. God heard them. God took us out. God brought us to Eretz Israel. In Israel, God gave each one of us a piece of land. And over here, we were able to work the land. And Boreolam gave us the beracha to be able to bring this bikurim, these fruits, and here we are, we're bringing them back to Boreolam, to the Beit HaMikdash, to you, Mr. Kohen. Okay? Cycle. So, you're now in Israel, but you're not forgetting Yetziat Mitzrayim. Yetziat Mitzrayim, and every time you harvest your fruit, will constantly be interconnected. You're not getting that piece of fruit. That bountiful produce is not happening until you remember everything that happened in your past. And it's going back and forth. And this is where we get the mitzvah of the Haggadah again for the Bikourim. The farmer every year, the Haggadah for the farmer. Okay? So it's connected back and forth. Now, think, okay, who cares? Bikourim. Okay? This is now his culmination, the Bikourim. Let's go back to Yetziat Mitzrayim, okay? Yetziat Mitzrayim, we're going through the whole thing, right? What's the last thing before they actually leave Egypt? Makat, Bechorot, Bikurim. You see what's going on over here? It's the same root of Bet and Kaf and Rish. It's coming together. Don't think this is happening without this. Don't think you can remember, you can have your bikurim, your first fruits, without remembering where you came from. Again, once again, it connects, it ties together. And this is your bikurim with your bechorot. But what else do we have going on over here? We have tremendous mitzvot that keep paralleling and hitting each other once again. Like I was saying, you have not only the interconnection and the interplay between Shemot and Debarim, we also have it with Debarim and Bimidbar again, with this whole concept of Bikurim, all right, and these Pesukim, right? We said these Pesukim from Perek Kavav in Debarim, we said, Ve'anita ve'amarta lefnei Adonai Elohecha arami ubed abi vayel Mitzrayim, etc., etc. If we go to Bimidbar, okay, when Am Yisrael was in the desert, and they sent messages to the king of Edom, okay, because they want to pass through his land. If you look at the wording of that section, same parallels, same words. Watch again. Vayishlach Moshe malachim mikadesh el melech Edom. Hu amar achicha Yisrael ata yada'ta et kol ha'tala asher masa'atnu. Okay, first thing, vayedu abotenu Misraima. Right, what you said? Abi, right? Arami obed Abi vayed Misraim. When they showed Misraim and Abi, we said in Egypt many years, vayare'u lanu Misraim v'la abotenu. Vayare'u tanu ha-Misraim ha'anu. V'nis'ak el Adonai. Vayishma' kodenu, vayishlach mal'ach, vayishma' Adonai et kodenu. Vayose'enu Misraim, vayose'enu Adonai Misraim. The same parallel pasuk. You can pass, copy paste. the whole thing. It's one connected. And what do they want to pass through? And we need water, and we need food, and we'll pay for it. Water and food. Bikourim, food. It's all interconnected. Okay? The Pesukim. Vayireh utenu hamislim v'anun v'yitenu adu kasha in Shemot leman anu tobusilotam. We say in the next pasuk, v'nis'ad. Look, three different words you have, three different parallels. V'nis'ad Elohai Elohei Avotenu, v'yishma Adonai Kolenu, v'yaret onyenu. And then in Shemot you look, okay, v'yiz'aku and v'nis'ad, the same thing. V'yishma Elohim et na'akatam. And then Vayar Elohim et Bnei Yisrael, Vayeda Elohim. Again, back and forth and back and forth. It's just non-stop. The parallels between all these Pesukim and all these concepts is amazing. But now there's got to be a lot more to it. Okay? So now that we've established that these Pesukim of the Bikourim in Sefer Debarim Perek Kavav are more or less the cliff notes, the monarch notes of all of Yetziat Mitzrayim. Okay? And it's, right? Yaakov went to Egypt, Am Yisrael went to Israel. That's the whole thing. And once again, I'm going to reiterate, the Mishnah obligates us to tell this specific story. You have to make it your business on Pesach night to tell this specific story and explain to them the connection between leaving Israel, leaving Eretz Mitzrayim rather, arriving in Eretz Israel, and everything connected to it. People, again, David's saying he does it great. Most people, I really believe, are not paying attention. You know, okay, read, your turn, read. Let's get through it. This is the point you have to be spending the most time on. But now, this concept of Bikourim, we said, okay, he's the farmer. Okay, I can imagine the first year this guy got to Eretz Israel, fantastic. But come on, 2 years, 3 years, after 40 years, does he really care about first fruit, not first fruit? These Pesukim are telling you, you must make it. It must be something very, very special. And if you look at the Pesukim over here, there was, I believe it's Pasuk Gimel, which you don't have in front of you. I'm going to tell you Pasuk Gimel. We give the Ubata el Kohen, Ashir Yeh Bayanim Ve'amarta Elav. Okay, so now this farmer is coming to the Kohen, whoever the Kohen is in that time that he's living, and he has to say in front of him, Higati Hayom. This word is Hayom. Higati Hayom Ladonai Elohecha, Hibati La'aras Hashem Shba Adonai La'avotenu La'tetlan. The whole concept over here is Hayom. Hayom. Today, brand new, fresh, exciting. And that's what we have going over here. So even being in Israel after 100 years or 1,000 years, 2,000 years, each time Bikourim, it's Hayom, it's fresh and new. And the Hakhamim, they interpret this concept of Hayom as the mindset for bringing the Bikourim. Every year must be a new experience. A new harvest is always exciting because you see the fruit of your labor. Okay, you see the bounty. And that excitement must be how you view the gift of Israel. Yeah, Borei Olam wants to give us the land, okay, but we got it in the past. We're working it out. You're forgetting about Borei Olam. You can't forget about it. Each time it's like Hashem just gave us the land right now. He didn't give it to us before. We got it right now. And today is the first day. Okay, and this is the central theme, the same in the Haggadah. It has to be fresh. It has to be new. You tell me, what do you mean fresh and new? Well, we have another part in the Haggadah that we read before this, and we generally use it to refer to our minhag of doing the Misharotam, right? Bechol dor vador hayam adam leherod et asmo kilu yasam Mitzrayim. In every generation, a person has to show himself as if he actually got out of Egypt. Okay, so we do Misharotam. Here, I'm carrying the stuff just like I left Egypt. No, okay, that's very nice. It's cute to tell the kids. But no, you have to actually feel it. You have to sense it. The farmer has the mitzvah of Higati Hayom, and you have the Gatal Mincha Hayom right now. Feel it, sense it, engage it, connect in it. This is what's going on over here. And that's why Bechol Badur Hayab Adab. The Haggadah is telling you what you have to do. It's part of the instructions of the night. It's not just a paragraph to read, it's instructions to yourself, to your family, to your son, to everybody that's at your table. Let's do it. Let's get into it. Let's realize that we just got out of it. We just had a terrible year. We were enslaved, we were in camp, we were tortured. Okay? And Borei Olam is listening to us. It's fresh, it's new. Yesiyat Islam is the Dorei Dorot. It's for now and it's forever. It doesn't stop. Oh. What? What do you mean, just our custom? Almost all Sephardim do some form of Mishal Otam, and there are even some Ashkenazim that do a form of it. Yeah. Okay, but again, leave that aside. Even if you're not doing that, again, everything that you're reading, everything that you're thinking about, everything that you're engaging, everything that you're teaching to whoever's there. Okay, that Yisrael Mitzrayim has to be as if you left Egypt right now. That Borei Olam just finished all the plagues, and here we are. We came out this morning. Okay, you can't just. It's not a book to just read through it and fly through it, and you finish and you're done. Let's forget about it till next year. You got to keep going. But that's not the only thing. This declaration was not just a declaration, because if you look at Harambam in Hilchot Hamesu Masa, he says in Perek Zayin from Halacha Vav to Halacha Yod. I thought we were going to be upstairs, and I would have pulled out Rambam. I didn't think to bring it down, but basically he tells you the only way a person can show. Yeah, but I can't reach out to the shelf in Marky's room and pull it out. The only way you could attain and achieve the real sense of the freedom, the hirut of Yisrael Mitzrayim, is through telling over the story, through the drinking of the 4 cups, and through what do you call the Hiseba. Okay? And with these concepts all together, that's when you attain the mindset of real freedom. And you can only attain a mindset of freedom if you have the mindset of being enslaved. So that means it has to be fresh, it has to be new. Harambam is telling us that, but obviously in a hidden way. So it has to be there. But what else comes together with the Pesach and the Bikourim? What other similarity do we have? Pesach, Bikourim, Bikourim, Pesach. Think about it. You're happy. When you're happy, what happens to you? What do you do spontaneously?
Drink.
Break out into song. You sing. Right, Benny? Don't you always sing? No, seriously. When a person is really happy, you break out into song. It's a normal human way of expressing their glee. And so what's going on over here is we're doing the Magid. Okay, we started the Magid section. We get to this section where we're really supposed to be elaborating on, okay? And we end up pouring, and we do what we have to do, and we finish the Magid section shortly thereafter, okay? But what comes next? Halil. You're going from this into Halil. The first one, the Halil, right? The Halil and the Haggadah is split up into 2 parts. There's the first part that we read before the second cup of wine, and then there's the next part that we read at the 4th cup of wine, between the 3rd and the 4th cup. But we're starting the Halil, and this Halil technically has to be spontaneous, has to be genuine, has to be real happiness because of what we just read in the Magid. And therefore, if you think about it, generally on a holiday, if you're saying Halil, you're saying the full Halil, we say full Halil in the Haggadah, shouldn't we be saying the Barakah? Fine, we said it tonight, very good. But why we're not saying Barakah and Halil in the Haggadah? Why we say it in Arbit? Arbit of Pesach is when we say Barakah on the Halil.
How can I say Barakah twice in one day?
Wrong. a separate mitzvah over here. Why are we not saying it? Because we're saying you only say beracha. Think of it like this: Hanukkah. Hanukkah, all 8 days we say full halal with beracha. Correct? Because it's planned. It's planned. On Hanukkah, for example, it's planned. We're celebrating a memory of the past. So it's planned. So the Hakhamim planned a beracha for it. So you could remember it. Over here, this is real. If it's a real Magid, a real Haggadah, a real sense of here and now and today, you can't plan for it and have a beracha plan for it. It's spontaneous. And as such, you can't have a beracha on it because it's so real. And it's a really feel it. Yes, you have to feel it.
It's more than a reenactment.
Much more than a reenactment. Much more than a reenactment. Okay? Before, as if you're really coming out. Okay? So the Halil is a response, like we said, generally to a past event. And so it's planned and you make the beracha. But over here, we're not responding to a past event. We're responding to today. Okay? So the same thing over here, because it has to be like that, it has to be a reaction to what's going on today. And as such, there's no beracha. It's real. It has to be a real happy Halil. And if it's a real happy Halil, again, you're not flying through it. We're actually singing the Halil from the beginning. You know, you're not fun. What are you doing? Do you even know what you said? All you know is that you're like, okay, half a page left, get the one, everybody stop, you're making hand motions. Who's going through it? Who's paying attention to what's going on? Think about it. You want to skip something? So after you pour your cups of wine, when you drop some things, skip that. Skip all the stuff over here and say what you have to say. So if you really need to skip things, according to Harambam gives you a different format of the Haggadah, and he shows you what some people used to say, like all this stuff of what do you call it, the Biose Haggadah and all that. That wasn't in the older Haggadah. You really need to skip for whatever reason, skip that. But we're not looking to skip. We're looking to elaborate on the Nisim and Iflawad what Olam gave us, because we're into it. It's happening in front of our eyes. We're not saying a beracha on the Halel because this is Halel is a song that's coming out of our feeling, as opposed to just saying it because we're remembering an event that happened in the past. Very, very different.
So you're technically finishing it, you should say beracha.
No, but just tell them, why aren't you? Right, but that's giving you the answer. We're not saying it because the Hakhamim only established this beracha with more Halil when it has to do with remembering a past event. And over here, we're not remembering a past event. We are living a current event.
What about the holiday days? What about the holiday days? We're only feeling it during the Seder, but you're not feeling it when you're praying in the morning.
Correct.
Yeah, because then it's a regular Haggadah.
It's a very different feeling. The Haggadah has a feeling all to itself. Yeah, everything has to be real. It has to be fresh. Has to be, Hayom. And this is the connection between Bikourim and the Haggadah, and the Bikourim, and where our stance is today. And because you don't do Bikourim, you have to have all the more feeling of Pesach because you only have the opportunity to do it. In other words, that's the only thing we can connect to. Now, obviously, you want to move to Israel, buy a plot of land, it's a whole different sense. But this is the gist of the class. We can go back to the Pesukim and we can analyze the Pesukim, which I really didn't prepare for, to be honestly. I wanted to talk about the importance of the Pesukim and why we say them and why we recite them and why the Mishnah tells us specifically we have to focus on these 4 Pesukim, because these 4 Pesukim are the essence and what puts our mind, our heads and our families into the mindset of what Pesach is really about and what is incumbent upon us to tell over to our families. To me, this is what's important about Pesach, what's the Haggadah, and I think you should take this home to your families and really, study these Pesukim. You have time between now and Pesach now. No, I'm not like that at all. When it comes to the table, I don't. Everybody's free. You make a mistake reading, you get killed. You haven't seen nothing yet. Even Lori will correct you. No, but seriously, these 4 Pesukim, go home, read it in Hebrew and English, understand what's really going on. Even at the table, don't just, okay, we read it in Hebrew, we're done. Read it in English. If you want to, you don't want to spend time on commentaries like most people don't want to, drag out because it becomes Torah Sibur, okay? At least these 4 Pesukim, find something intelligent to say that you could share with everybody at the table. More than any other part of the Haggadah. But this is what the Hakhamim telling us we have to be Doresh. This is the part that we're supposed to be studying and explaining. Nothing else. And the entire Haggadah has to be explained like these 4 Pesukim. It's something people don't think about.
Penny's gonna say something right.
Please, want to say something now?
No.
Okay, he's gonna prepare. All right. Anyway, that's it. Please.
Did the Haggadah change? Like you have a Siddur that changes all the time and everything is different. I kind of feel like the Haggadah is the same in everybody.
The Haggadah changed, but not as much as other things. In other words, many of the rituals, like we've shown in the past, have changed. Remember that lecture that I gave at Shara Shalom a few years back? I showed most of the changes that went done. Fill 5 cups, sure. The text of Manishtanah changed. Look at the Mishnah. Today we'll see how it changed. There are small textual changes you can see between Sephardim, Ashkenazim, Yemenites, and there are books that show them in column format. Yeah, to show you the changes. But the changes are nothing major. There's really nothing major. There are,
Has it been a Kabbalistic influence on it?
practically none at all. Practically none at all. Like the Iraqis in the midst of these 4 Pesukim, the Iraqis add a line that doesn't belong. And based upon this interpretation, it doesn't belong. Yeah, you remember it. Don't tell me you don't remember it. I'll show you right now. It's this one over here. I made sure to bring it and put an X on it. You have this one over here. In the midst of all this, the Iraqis throw that in, and based upon everything that's interpreted over here through these Pesukim and the explanation of the Pesukim from Shemot to Debarim and back and forth, that Pesuk does not belong here whatsoever. Okay, save it for the Brit Milah when we say it. No, really, I'm serious. Okay, that's why I put an X on it. I would not put the Ta'amim on it. I did not put the Pasuk, reference next to it. It does not belong. Huh?
Yeah, what is that? What are these check marks?
Those check marks refer to other books that I know about to see if they're in order and on order. This is before I realized back and forth that's going on. But that's basically it. Any questions about these Pesukim? Any questions? Michael? No question? Benny? David? Yeah? Okay, good. All right, so like I said, I didn't prepare explanations on the Pesukim. Maybe we'll do that in the next class. Maybe we'll do something probably going to do something totally different for the next class. Okay? And that's it. We're good. Thank you, everybody.
Zach Baruch.
Okay,